How's it going, everybody? I want to talk to you guys tonight a little bit about the American education system. I know it seems like every other day we hear some news about how bad the American education system is. We hear studies that show that the United States is like 30th in the world in math and science, which is absolutely terrible. And those numbers are true. But the thing you get to understand is that the American education system is really, really big. And it's not bad everywhere. It's really bad some places, but not everywhere. So here's the thing: the American education, the idea that we're 30th in the world in math and science, it comes from this test. It's called the PISA. Now, the PISA is basically like an international version of the SAT or the ACT. And if you look at the numbers, yeah, American kids are finishing like 31st and 33rd in math and science. That's true. But here's the thing: about 5, 6 years ago, the state of Massachusetts paid specifically to have their kids' numbers split out from the rest of the country and treated as if Massachusetts was its own country, just to see how they would do. Well, it turns out they actually did pretty good. They actually finished 9th and 10th in the world in math and science. That's not bad at all. In fact, they beat almost every single Western European nation on that test. I think Finland was the only country that beat them. The rest of the countries were all Eastern Asian nations like Japan and Korea. And, not that we shouldn't be competing with them as well, but their talents in math and science are well documented. But the point here is to just understand, we have states in this country that are doing very well. Massachusetts is one. My home state of Minnesota regularly competes with Massachusetts, number one, number two on the ACT, SAT for the best education system. Most of New England is doing very well. Wisconsin, Iowa aren't doing too bad. I can't remember if it's Oregon or Washington. One of the two is up there. I think they're both kind of up there. But you see, there's a number of states that are doing very well. Now, of course, who's failing us? I mean, if the average for America is in the 30s, and yet you have states like Massachusetts that is 9th and 10th, that means somewhere in this country there are states who are finishing in the 50s. If they were their own country, they'd be in the 50s. That's how bad their kids are doing. And it's not hard to guess. I'm sure you can take a shot in the dark at who it is. Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, Arkansas, all of these Southern conservative, bright red Republican states. That's who's failing. Meanwhile, as I mentioned before, states like Massachusetts, Minnesota, most of New England, these are the brightest blue states in the entire country. These are states controlled almost entirely by liberals. It's the states controlled almost entirely by Republicans for decades and decades. That's who's failing us. It's not America as a whole. It's not the public education system. There are public education systems in this country doing just fine. So when you hear people telling you that the American education system is failing, we got to do all these, we got to try the private version of, we got to get rid of the public education. No, it's a bullshit lie. Okay, the education system is doing just fine in states who actually care about education and who are actually trying to make sure their kids get a good education. It's not the American education system that's failing. It is the Republican education system that is failing. So you want to fix the system? The answer is simple: stop voting for Republicans.